Yes, 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 yes. Hey, y'all. Good morning, friends. Thank you for clocking in with Lynn. You are clocked in with Lynn. Yes, it is just a beautiful day. I am just so excited, y'all. I'm so excited. My guest today, and y'all know it is Happy Women's History Month. So I have a phenomenal woman today. Like, she is amazing. She is in my entrepreneur group. You are going to love her exactly like I do. Okay? So listen, let's talk money, honey. She is, she is the founder and CEO of Inspire to Evolve, y'all. She's a transformational business and executive coach. Help me welcome my friend, Dr. Camille White. Yay! Yes!
Hey, Lynn, how are you?
I'm so glad to have you today, Dr. Camille.
Thanks for having
I
me.
know you are busy, so thank you for gracing this lovely live stage this morning. I'm so glad. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm feeling good. It's awesome to be here. So all excited, and I love to talk about money, right? I think that we've conditioned ourselves to think that there's not enough of it when actually we live in a world of abundance. And I say, let's get the bag. So
So let's talk about I know a lot about your background, but let everyone know, like, what is your educational background, and then we'll get started.
Sure. So I actually have 4 degrees. I got them 2 at a time each time. I'm a graduate of a historically Black college. So I earned a degree in biology as well as chemistry from North Carolina Central University, and then went to The Ohio State University, where I earned my master's in health administration, and went to medical school there, and also at Ross University School of Medicine. So started off at The Ohio State University and then went to Ross because I wanted to study international medicine. So when I was a little kid, I was thinking, well, I'll just be the Surgeon General, right? And started at Ohio State, went to Ross where I got to see international medicine. I actually wanted to study renal disease, so kidney failure, and went there. They had a renal disease belt. States that had a large population of African American people that were suffering, and I wanted to study them and help them out. So that's my background. And then I've gotten multiple certificates and venture capital, because got interested in the money, venture cap. I'm taking a course with Cornell right now on women's entrepreneurship, and started a small business doing government contracts. And then during the George Floyd movement, got together with 2 friends, and we came up with a plan. Let's make $10,000 in 15 days. And so we started, and we didn't even realize we were doing it. So I've had a lot of fun along the way. My career path hasn't been linear, and none of them are. So
right,
I've embraced the journey.
Mm-hmm. So what made you get into like the whole money expertise type of thing? Let me just ask this. How was money in your household growing up? What was the relationship with money?
When I look back on it, I'm like, oh my God, I was built for this, because I grew up at a time where as a child, you had to work for whatever you got. Your parents provided a roof over your head, some utilities, and and if you wanted extra, it was up to you to try to find that. And I had thought about what I wanted to be when I was growing up. And I had an aunt with multiple sclerosis. I used to help out with her. And then I had an aunt, and my aunt was a nurse, but she didn't give me any insight on nursing. She allowed me to clean her house. And by cleaning her house, she had a massive library, Lynn, and I would read all her nursing books. So I was reading about pharmaceuticals, I was reading about the lungs, I was reading radiology.
What age?
Would you say at what age?
Yeah, what age?
Probably about 15.
Nice.
Yep. And then so she thought I was cleaning her house, right? And while she's looking away, I'm reading the books.
I love it.
And so that started me off. When I look back on it, I was like, I've always had money. Did the the summer youth programs, cleaning schools and things like that. And I look back on, I'm thinking maybe somebody wanted me to be like a housekeeper or something, because I was always cleaning something up.
Would you say that you came from like a middle class home, or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say that my dad, we grew up in the Midwest, and my biological father, he worked at Chrysler. My mother worked at AT&T. Of course, the ups and downs, the layoffs and things like that, but pretty much typical household.
Right. I would say like I kind of grew up, I guess it was sort of middle class until like the whole thing with my family or the divorce, but we never spoke about money. We never spoke. I just remember like in my like even kind of like grade school up until like high school, like money was just so taboo. It was just the lack of it. We never talked about credit. I didn't understand credit until I got into college. I was like, what? So why do you think that they don't teach in these schools like financial literacy and things like that? Why do you think that is?
To keep you poor, girl, to keep you working class. So what you think? To keep you working class. And my parents never really taught me about money, except that you have to earn your own.
Right.
And my parents divorced when I was 2. So I remember discussions around the child support, right? And how the child support should cover everything. And, now that I'm an adult and I was able to access those numbers, I realized that it just wasn't enough, right?
Wow.
You have a certain understanding when you're young versus when you get older.
So with you having a lot of knowledge of money, what would you say to like a younger entrepreneur, like how they should they start like investing early, or what tip would you give to little Camille?
Now, little Camille used to grind, right? And she thought the money that she had was something, right? Because she was able to buy her little car, get her little mini skirts, and get your hair done and all the different styles, but it's really nothing. So I would say to someone who's learning about money, realize how much things cost, right?
Okay.
And know your value and where you're worth, because we're both into personal growth and personal development. So those affirmations, you can do it and those things, but you have to know that your skill set, what you bring to the table, is very valuable, even if it's not formal education. And you have to think about, well, what is it that I can do and what is my offering? And there are going to be a lot of people who tell you that what you have, it just isn't worth it. And you have to keep going. But depending on how much money you have, because when you don't have a lot, losing any of it can be a tremendous risk, a loss. So you can start investing. I've done some angel investing. And what's interesting about that is when you start studying investing, people set up all these parameters. Oh, well, you have to have a thesis. You need to study. You need to da. When I started angel investing, I didn't want to lose a lot of money, but I did hear where Warren Buffett said, think about items that you use on a day-to-day basis and invest in those. And I was lucky enough that I went on WeFunder. A lot of people don't know about a WeFunder, and they have these businesses that are startups. And you can invest, you could do micro investing as small as $25 to $100 to whatever it is that you want to do. And at the time, I was really into natural hair, and I still am. And I found Curl Mix, and I invested in them. So what's interesting about that is that, and the same for housing too, right? So I live in a neighborhood where the homes are $1 million, multi-million dollars, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a friend, we were walking our dogs, and one thing she told me, I was like, wow, I never have any money. And you shouldn't speak that, but I was saying stuff. And she said, because you give all your advice, you give everything you have away for free. I said, what? what are you talking about? One of my white girlfriends, she said, you give everything you have away for free. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, you went to school for all that education and people call you and ask you stuff all the time and you just tell them for free. And I thought about that. And I said, well, they never want to pay me because it's family, you know, and they're looking at you like, why should I pay you for? And she said, well, then you need to open your mouth and start saying they need to go somewhere else.
Oh.
And I was like, wow. And she had her own business and she was living in a condo in the same city I was at. And I'm thinking, I got all this education. Why don't I have money? What's up?
Right.
So the condo that she lived in, she told me that she bought it before that part of town was even developed. So she got in on it early and she watched it develop over 10 years. And now it was worth multi-million dollars. And that's how she did it.
Wow.
And
so that's
crazy, isn't it?
I didn't want to cut you off. Sorry. Were you about to say something else?
Right. So when I went to look at property, she brought me to an area that she had found. And she said, it's developing. They don't even have the street lights in yet. And if you were to get in here, you would be coming in at ground level. And that's what I did. And then also there are 6 developers in the area. So you get the benefit off their marketing. They're hyping up the area. And so that drives up the value too. So for example, one of my neighbors bought their home at $300,000. They've been here since 2019. They sold 670. So it's kind of like a quick flip. So when you think about getting in early, it's the same way with these small businesses. So if you go on WeFunder, there are a lot of companies that are startups.
Okay.
And there's some risk involved because they haven't been proven yet. But if you invest your $10 or $20, $300 or whatever, if the company succeeds and they get an initial public offering, they go public.
Right.
Your little money now increases.
Right.
So there's that risk because you're investing early, but you know, it's an opportunity to make some money. And then it takes some years. So.
Right. That's awesome. I love that you said it because I was one of those too that just was so scared to take risks. Because I grew up like in survival mode. So it was like risk was scary. So you get like a little bit of stuff, you try to hold on to it, but you have to have, your money has to grow for you to get to the next level. I've learned that.
Right.
And you spoke earlier about value, like valuing yourself. What advice would you give to someone that is going into an interview, like for their dream job, and you're a little intimidating, you don't know what to ask for? Like, give a little bit of your thoughts on how to get to the point to really ask for what you're worth.
Right. So there is a way to become a millionaire from a W-2 job, right?
Okay, come on.
And so let me put it, because I'm trying to be politically correct, right?
We got time. We got time.
So when you think about the stock market, all these companies sell a little bit of themselves through the stock, right? So what I would do is, if I was interested in a company, I would go to the stock market and see how much their shares sell for, right? And so for me, I wanted to make a lot of money. So I looked at the technology companies. I looked at Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, just a few of those. And there are other companies that have high dollar stocks too. So once I found out those companies, I learned about a site called levels.fyi. And Levels had the high paying companies and what titles and what those titles paid. That's where I would start. And I would look at my skill set and slot it into one of those roles with the companies that had the large stock prices. So then when I'm interviewing, before I go to an interview, I would create a brag book for myself.
Okay.
What have been my previous jobs and what have been the successes, what have been my accomplishments, and what have been the outcomes as far as driving innovation, managing teams, and bringing in money for the company. So, for example, my background is healthcare and I pivoted into health IT. With my last job, I can say I expanded my book of business from 10 million to 30 million within 20 months. I can stand on that and say, this is the money that I did. And I learned how to do storytelling too, right? So if I walked in the room as that Black physician and I'm telling you about this technology, I've been on the patient care floor. Now I'm going to tell you how this technology can work for you. Not only that, I'm going to tell you how to plug this technology into the regulatory environment where the money is, right? So I understand how we generate revenue. So you're going to bring all that to the table. They're going to look at your resume and they're going to devalue it and say, well, I don't see what you bring to the table. So you have to be able to stand on business and say, I can do this, 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 and that. And from day one, when you're introducing yourself, you're talking about all these things. You know, tell me a little bit about yourself. Hi, I'm Dr. White. You know, I love working at this company. I was able to increase my business from 10 million to 30 million using several strategies. So each time you have a conversation with them, you're putting a little bit more of your value in. So by the time you get to the last phase, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I really want her. And they'll offer you a salary and then you can negotiate it up based on your value. But in those initial conversations, when they're saying, how much, you know, well, what kind of salary are you looking to make? You could say something like, that's a good question, Karen. You know, I want to be paid according to industry standards. And you've done your research on levels.fyi. And you can also go to a company like salary.com and submit your background information as like your experience, your education, the companies that you work for, plug it in there, and they'll give you a compensation package so you know what you're aiming for. Did that help?
That's beautiful. Yes. Yes. I'm like, wait a minute. So with all of that, all of your knowledge and everything, what were some of like any type of money mistakes that you want to let me know and anyone like that we can kind of like avoid?
Money mistakes.
Like it could be with, because I'm honestly, it's crazy. I am self-taught as far as money. So I'm trying to get all the knowledge from Dr. Camille, because you're there and you get it. And I'm reading a lot of books about getting good with money, things like that. So have you made any like big money mistakes, or maybe you haven't, in just your entrepreneurship, any like risks you've taken, anything like that?
I will say scared money doesn't win, right? Exactly. And we all say that, but there was such a learning curve because I'm self-taught too, but I never stopped learning. And if something seems too good to be true, then it is. And I grew up in kind of like survival mode too, and went through medical school, didn't have any money, was always thinking, well, when is the money going to happen? When is that going to happen? And you have to make it happen for yourself. So I kept getting the education. The tip would be that I kind of feel like it took me so long just to get that education and understand that there are different ways to make money. I was just so conditioned by get a good job or the W-2, and you have to be able to break out of, you know, that whole thought process.
Right. It's something. It blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Like I said earlier, how the money wasn't taught in school and things like that. And it's crazy. What are some of the tools or resources that you would recommend for people to learn more about finances? I know you said here about the what was the one website?
Oh, you're talking about for the W-2s, for jobs, levels, levels.fyi. You could go there, and salary.com. It'll teach you about different salaries. But if you really want to dig into the nuts and bolts of it, right? I probably would understand tax breaks, right?
Mm.
So it's a lot of, if you want to build a portfolio, right? You got to understand it's money flow. We know about abundance, so money flows from different places. So even the different tax breaks you can get. So I live in my primary residence, right? But if I were to rent this out and I live somewhere else, I would get a huge tax break because this would be considered a part of my real estate portfolio, right?
Right.
So things like that, or when you start a business. And you do taxes, correct?
Say it, I'm sorry.
You know about taxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So understanding that when you start a new business, you'll have a $5,000 write-off.
Right.
Understanding it, if you're at your job, like the tech jobs, they'll give you $5,000 for personal, professional development, things like that. Understand, what angel investing is. Understanding that stock market, girl, that thing right there. Because if you're living in survival mode and you have that mindset and someone's telling you invest in the stock market, you're like, I don't want to lose all my money, right? Because it's like putting your money, you're betting on one horse. So if that goes down, then I'm going to lose my money. So I had to learn about ETFs. And an ETF is like if I'm interested in putting some money down on Salesforce or Amazon or whatever tech company,
Right.
I'm thinking I could lose that money. But an ETF is like a basket of stocks. So if you go down the potato chip aisle, I'm sure you don't eat chips since you take care of yourself. But I do. So
I eat some chips every now and then. I just not every day, but I'll eat a little bit here and there.
That's right. That's right. So if you're going down a potato chip aisle, they got all these different brands, right?
Right.
It's like you took your money and you said, bam, I'm getting a little bit of each brand. When you buy an ETF, you have Amazon, you're going to have Google, you're going to have Salesforce, all of those. And it's like being split among them. So if one goes down, the other's going up, down, that kind of thing. So anybody could put money there. Another thing that happened though, as far as stocks are concerned, back in the day, you would have to put down a lot of money to buy a whole share. So if you wanted to invest in a successful company and it was $1,000 a share, you're like, no. Now you can buy fractions of stock. You could say, oh, I only have $10, only want to buy $10 worth of Amazon. I only want to buy $10 worth of Salesforce until you get more money to build it up. So
right. Did you get involved in any of like the crypto or the Bitcoin or any of that stuff?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I know everybody, that was a little craze. I didn't either, but I was just wondering.
It was too risky for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you see what's going on right now. So a lot of people probably like wishing they didn't get into it. Well, I think some of the people that got into it in the beginning, I think they were pretty good.
I think it's going to come back though. For me, I just needed to do more research on it. And I just didn't have I don't think I had the interest. So Dogecoin, that kind of stuff. I think it's any type of different crypto. I didn't mess with it.
Right. And I know you mentioned earlier about the whole venture capital. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Right. So, so back to getting this money from this W-2, right? So you're looking at the stock market to find out what the stock is selling at, right? And so I talked about that route. And then I talked about angel investing, how you get in on a company before they've gone IPO. So that's basically what venture capital is. It is investing in different companies, getting in on the ground floor before they go to IPO, before they're doing their initial public offering. So I really didn't understand that. And there's a movement to get more Black people into investing.
Right.
And so I took this course with the Black Venture Capital Institute, BVI. And the stuff that they were telling me just blew me away. I was like, how come nobody ever told me about this? So these are companies who are building their businesses and things that they have to put in place so that they can go and pitch to these investors, and then investors will give them money. I was like, I had no idea. Even when we form our little LLCs, right? How
Right.
should that LLC be formed? Should it be, if it's in Delaware, then I think that makes it easier for it to be sold. Or I never even thought about selling a business. Everything is for sale. So you can build your business up to the point where investors are like, that's very interesting. And they buy it. They buy it.
And that's when it's already making money though.
Right. So what happens is, so for example, Curl Mix, the company that I invested in,
Okay.
they were on Shark Tank, and they did a pitch and they tried to get some money. Shark Tank offered them maybe $400,000 and they said no. And so now they build, and they can get to a point where they have a Series A raise. So they're doing the fundraising while they're building. And you get investors to invest in the company, and it allows the company to grow. Like if they want to get factory space, or if they want to do more branding, advertising, or whatever. And so they get the like $5 million for Series A, 10 for Series B, 50 for C, and that kind of thing. And they keep growing. The problem with that is for Black companies, and I think it's Black women owned, we only get 1.9% of the venture capital dollars, right? And so that stops us from growing. So when Curl Mix was only offered that $400,000, they tried to raise like a Series A $5 million, and they couldn't raise the $5 million. What they did was they went on WeFunder, and they said, they're going to get the micro investing. That's when they said, we're going to open it up to our community, African American people, and if you want to invest $10, $20, whatever, we'll take it. And that's when people learn how to invest and were able to get in on that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're poor, you don't have money, you can't invest in those bigger stocks.
Right. Yes. And speaking of that, what are some other ways that you know of, like, because passive income right now is imperative anywhere, especially out here in LA. Like, I can't have one job. You see, I got a lot of jobs over here. Do you is there anything that you may suggest, anything where people can make passive income, other like, or small hustle jobs or anything like that?
Right. So when I got together with my two friends and we did the $10,000 in 15 days thing, so I had a consulting company, and I met a woman. She had a degree from Columbia University, and they were treating her poorly at her job. And I said, well, you should come with me. She wanted to learn about executive presence. I said, you should start shadowing me, and you can see how I deal with clients. And she said, I have a friend. Can my friend come along? I said, sure. Bring your other friend. So we started doing research on digital technology companies. Okay. I was the physician. I knew about digital tech. She knew about insurance agencies, and the other one knew about billing and coding. So we essentially used the skill set that we had and monetized it. Long story short, the lady that knew about the billing and coding started approaching companies that are on the international market. They were interested in taking these devices into the States, and we found a couple other companies that were already in the States, and they wanted to launch these devices. But they needed to figure out how much money they could make from them for the reimbursement for the government. And she was that lady. And so I framed her as the money lady. I said, you're going to talk to her and she's going to help you. So she figured out how to offer them a package. And we refined it down so that she could offer that package and do that work within 2 weeks, right? And charge $10,000 or $15,000. And once you get that down, you can recycle it until she had 4 or 5 clients that month that she's getting $10,000 each, the clients. So it's kind of like using what you have.
Right.
You shook your head like, oh my goodness.
I love it. Doctor, come on, Dr. Camille. I love it.
And I've never met her before. I've never met her in person. And, you know, I tag in with her every now and then. She told me one time, she said, girl, she said, Dr. White, you changed my life. Because Black people would not call you Camille. They like, no, that's Dr. White. She said, you changed my life. And I said, how so? She said, I never knew I could do anything like this, but you coached me to do it. She said, you are my testimony at church. And I said, I just needed you to make over $200,000 a year. And I figured this is what we're going to do. But she said, I just thought maybe I was going to do billing and coding for them. I said, no, girl, you understand, the complexities of the legal aspect of the healthcare market. So I'm going to introduce you. And so it gives some credibility. Oh, Dr. White is bringing somebody in that's going to help us. Okay, now do your thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's how you give and everything just comes back. I love it. I appreciate you. What do you have anything coming up that the people need to know about? Because I have been just blessed this morning. It's a lot that you've said today that I didn't even know. I mean, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents over here.
Yeah, you got to keep going. And you're doing a good job.
Yes.
And you look good doing it too, right?
Thank you. Yes, I love this. You see, I got my money green on. I was like, I got to get ready for my money today, baby, because I've been saying 2024, let's go. So I love the money talk. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because like I said, when I grew up, nobody talked about money. Money was like, you talk about money, everybody cringe and run. And it was like a no. So I love this. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and your expertise. It is amazing. Where can people find you? I know you, a lot of people probably would love to know more about your coaching and all of that, because It is so needed in our community. It's needed around the world, but it's so needed within our community.
It is. I'm on Inspire to Evolve. That's my website, and feel free to contact me. Just click the contact button and my schedule is there. I'm on LinkedIn. I have only about 5,000 followers over on LinkedIn.
You better pop your collar.
Instagram, I have a handful there. I'm under Lovely Dr. Camille. On LinkedIn is Camille White, MD, MHA. Facebook is Camille White. Where else am I? TikTok. I'm on Inspire to Evolve, Dr. Camille White. And I am putting together an entrepreneurship challenge and private equity markets challenge, because we just have all kind of skills, right? And we have to learn how to get a fresh set of eyes that can look at us and say, girl, you could be doing this. Let me show you how to do it. Right. And we have to learn our value and our worth. And don't be so quick to say, oh, I can't afford this, and how am I going to pay for this? Because if you really want it, there are ways to do it. Yeah. And you know what? All money ain't good money. So if somebody's saying, hey, girl, I can, I'm going to give you this, or I'm going to teach you this, get rich quick.
Right.
Yeah, it's a no.
Right. It's a no. Well, thank you so much. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This was awesome. I have enjoyed you, and I would love for you to come back and let us, because we all need to evolve and elevate in this lifetime. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And you are amazing.
Thanks so much, Lynn. You're amazing too. Everybody, thanks for having me on Clock In with Lynn.
Thank you, Dr. Camille. Have a good day.
You're awesome.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Woo! Y'all, I told y'all. If you wasn't ready, I hope y'all got ready. Because Dr. Camille, she dropped them gems. Just like I told y'all. She know the money, honey. I'm just trying to be like her when I grow up. Because I forgot I got my money green glasses. Y'all see me. I see y'all. Thank you. Thanks, tribe. I see y'all. Let me put my glasses back on. I see y'all. I see y'all, friend and Alicia. and Mahan. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. Happy Women's History Month. I love women and money, child. Let's go. Let's make this money. And I love, this is one thing that I did love about Dr. Camille, what she said. You have to use your resources, things that you think you don't even know, like, you can do. We all have our own built-in resources to make money and do what we need to do, y'all. Like, stop putting limits on yourself. Let all of that go. Really use the gifts that you have within yourself, y'all. We have it. We are just filled with so many things that the world needs to know that we need to share. And we have to live in our purpose and just go out there and get it. Okay? I remember when people used to always say, what was the saying? Money is the root of all evil. Come on now. That's only if you evil. If you're not evil and you got money, there's a million beautiful things you can do with money, like helping people and giving and creating. So don't get into that, all money is evil and all that stuff, because if you are really a good person and you are here to really live in your purpose, you can do so many amazing, great things with money, okay? So get out of that mindset. We are all capable of being millionaires, even billionaires. We're all capable of doing that. We just have to believe in ourselves, use our resources that we have, continue to keep learning, continue to just keep collaborating. Like she was saying, like Dr. Camille was saying, how she collaborated with her friends and how they ended up making money. We are stronger together. Okay? We are stronger together. There's enough money out there for everybody to eat. Okay? There's enough for all of us. There's no competitions. Don't even get into the mindset of thinking, oh, I can't do what they doing over there. Everybody can do whatever. We are all here to do something great. And let's live in our greatness, y'all. Like, really, we have to. So listen, do what you got to do. Y'all like my cut? I told y'all, money green. Today's money green. We sparkling, child. I love money green, child. Let's go get that money, honey. Okay? So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming on and being a part of Clock In with Lynn. Make sure you go onto YouTube, please, friends. Subscribe, like, share my YouTube or my TikTok, Clock In with Lynn as well. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I wish everybody the absolute best year ever. Let's go. Okay. I love you, love you, love you. Bye. Until next time. I love you guys.